Hey guys, it's Miss Small here. Today we're doing What If Deku Was Hat Kid, a game I love, and one day I hope I can play it for you guys on my channel if I can ever afford a capture card. Forget about that, and let's start the video. So we start off with a spaceship flying through space. It's Hat Kid's spaceship, but the ship seems to be struggling while flying. But as the ship stops, a huge energy wave is sent out. Something flies out of the ship and flies to Earth. It's a purple hat. But we now have a flashback to 10 years ago. We cut to a small green-haired boy walking with his mom until they reach a desktop computer. And as Deku sits down, his mom says, "Then you added 100 views to this yourself." She then puts on a video of All Might's debut. And we cut to Izuku smiling and jumping while watching the video. We then cut to the doctor's office. The doctor says, "Yeah, he's quirkless." Deku drops his All Might toy. But we then cut to the doctor, and the doctor says, dang it, sorry. The doctor says, "Usually kids get their quirks around the age of 4 or 5, but we can usually tell if they're going to get one or not by the joints in their pinky toe. When you have a quirk, they only have one. But if they don't have one, they have two. Zuko has 2 joints, so he won't get one." He then cut to Deku sitting by himself, while some kids talk to each other. One of them says, "Do you hear? He's quirkless." But we don't do a 10-year time skip. Everything's pretty much the same. As Zuko's sitting in class, the teacher walks in with a stack of papers, and long story short, he reveals Deku wants to go to UA. Contra saying that he should kill himself. Deku starts to walk home. But as he walks home, he gets attacked by the sludge villain, and etc. But as All Might jumps away, Deku grabs his legs, and All Might jumps with him. But in this universe, All Might never dropped the sludge villain. So when they land on a building, where Deku can ask his question, if you can become a hero without a quirk, and All Might just slap that dream away. Because All Might never dropped the sludge villain, Deku never found Kachan, and Deku never had to save Kachan because he was never in danger. So he never got the chance to prove himself. But it doesn't matter, because Deku was about to get a power that could go beyond All Might's quirk. So as Deku walks home, he sees a shooting star, needing to himself. Kachan told me to kill myself, All Might told me I couldn't become a hero. What else do I have left to lose? He then wishes, "Please give me the chance to be a hero." But as he wishes for that, the star crashes to a tree and into the ground. Deku says, "Huh?" As he walks towards it, he sees it's a purple top hat with a yellow brim. Deku then says, "Why was there a hat in space? How did it survive entering Earth's orbit, or even surviving in space?" But as he touches it, he says, "It's not hot. It's actually made of soft fabric." But as Zuko lifts it, he gets a weird feeling from it. But as he starts to put it on, Zuko says that it's nice and comfy. But then he gets engulfed in a puff of smoke, or white smoke, and appears. Then he wakes up on the floor, but as he gets up, he feels the carpet, thinks to himself, "Where am I?" But as he stands up, he looks around and says, "Why is everything so big?" But then he turns around and sees a giant window. He sees a giant window, and it looks like a space. Izuku says, "What the hell?" Or mentally says, "What the heck?" He starts walking to see Earth. He sees Earth. Izuku thinks to himself, "Am I in space?" But he places his hand against the window. He sees his hand is smaller, and he says, wait, it's smaller? What's going on?" As then he goes to try to get close to the window and sees his reflection. He's now a small little girl with brown hair, a ponytail with a purple top hat. He also has a yellow cape with a giant zipper, and a long purple dress or something similar, I'm not sure. Pretty sure there'd be a picture of her in the background. But as Izuku looks at himself, somewhere in the background you can hear the Windows error sound effect. But as Izuku starts to freak out, he starts hyperventilating before getting up and screaming, "Help!" But as he looks around, he walks into a kid's room. There's a giant pillow pit, a telescope in the middle of the room, a wardrobe, and finally a desk with a mirror. As he walks towards it, he gets a proper look at himself, and Izuku says, "What the hell happened to me?" He then looks at the hat and says, "Was it you?" He then grabs and throws it off. The hat disappears in a puff of white smoke. Izuku sees his back on his head. He then says, "Okay, calm down. There's to be somebody on this spaceship that can help me." He hears, "Oh my goodness, I'm on a spaceship. Okay, let me get my bearings. I look and sound like a little girl. I'm on an alien spaceship, and my mom will probably have a heart attack when she sees me." Then he says, I gotta explore this." He then finds the kitchen, says, "Okay." He finds the entry room and says, "I wonder what powers it." He then takes there and finds the laundry room and says, "How does this place get water?" Izuku then backtracks and goes to the hallway and finds a science lab, and Izuku says, "Who does the ship belong to?" He then backtracks back to the living room and sees a slide and says, "Wow, I managed to throw everything." He climbs up it, but then slides down, and Izuku says, "This leads to a remote room." Which makes Izuku give up, and he slides down a slide. He then enters the room, sees a machine room, and Izuku says, "Okay, whoever this belongs to was a scientist and engineer." Then he sees a door and goes to it. But as he does, it leads him to a gallery of some sort. He says, "This kid likes pictures of himself. I wonder what's her name. Where her defining features are hats, and maybe Hat Kid for now." Eventually leaves the room and sees an elevator and says, "It's the last place he has," so he goes up it. And he ends up in an attic and says, "Cool." Then he sees a shelf. Then he sees a book called Manuals, or a box called Manuals. He says, "Maybe I can pilot the ship, but he's kind of short," so he tries to jump. Then he double jumps, and Izuku says, "What the?" So he jumps pretty high for his new size. Then he double jumps, and Izuku says, "How does this make sense?" Because he looks at the wall, he jumps onto it, and he runs up it a little bit before he starts to sputter and fall. Izuku says, "Okay, I can double jump. I've run a couple feet up a wall." He says, "Or I just got turned into a little girl." And it makes sense that they fight laws of physics now. Then he has a memory of when he wished for a shooting star. So again, so please don't tell me this is what I was wished for. I wish to have the power to be a hero, and this is the universe, and the universe did this to me. It makes no sense. Izuku says, No, there has to be something I can do. But as he looks through the book, he sees how to pilot, how to fight. He sees how to make a super hat, and how to change your super hat. Izuku says, "What are those?" As he opens the page, he sees writing based on a yarn and overall goal. You can make hats that give you special powers. And he says, "What?" He then sees the book and he sees a few examples, like an ice hat, time hat, sprint hat, even a potion hat. So he goes, "Wait, I can make hats that give me superpowers? It makes no sense." Then he sees a book on how to switch hats, and he says, picks it up, and explains that he can change his hat by creating a puff of smoke that can teleport it and switch with another one. Spin Deku says, "I wonder," he tries to challenge it before he gets engulfed in a puff of smoke. He turns back to normal. This kid says, "I did it. I'm back to normal." But then he says, "Wait, am I?" Same thing. He then turns back into Hat Kid. He says, "I can turn back and forth whenever I want." But then he wonders, so I have the power to turn into a little girl, and she can create hats that give me multiple abilities. He says, "But why?" That's when he sees a shooting star in an attic skylight. And Izuku says, "Because I wish for it." Then he looks at the book and sees the title, "How to Use Telescope Teleporters." We then cut to Deku entering his house. And out of nowhere, his mother appears and says, "Where have you been? Do you know what time it is? I've been worrying sick." Izuku says, "Sorry, Mom." But as he enters his room, says, "It's going to take some time to get used to you two." He then enters his bathroom and looks in the mirror before turning to Hat Kid. In Hat Kid's voice, he says, "Yeah, it is definitely going to take time to take time to get used to." We now cut to the next day. Izuku's on a ship reading some books, and he thinks to himself, "I have 10 months to learn how to use Hat Kid's powers and our hats for the UA entrance exam." And guys, little explanation. When Izuku is in his original form, I'm calling him Deku, and when he's in his Hat Kid form, we're going to call him Hat Kid. Understand? Good. We then cut to Hat Kid running and jumping across Rufus before she does a air dash and misses and hits the wall and falls in the garbage can. It then shows the teacher teaching a class, and Deku's reading a book with the title How to Knit Super Hats. It then cuts to Hat Kid knitting a very ugly hat. It then shows dang it. We then cut to him creating a puff of smoke before an ember appears in his hands. It then cuts to Caution staring at Deku's worksheet, because he's making hat designs. It then cuts to Deku reading a book saying how to use badges. It then cuts to Hat Kid opening a closet full of buttons. And then she just look at Deku using a search engine to find a training site. It then cuts to Hat Kid on a beach pointing her umbrella at a pile of garbage. But nothing happens. When she points the umbrella down, a giant laser shoots out and acts like a high pressure water hose and sends Hat Kid flying. Then shows Deku pressing a button on ship control panels before a flashing red light appears. It then cuts to Hat Kid trying to make a hat again but failing. But then she finds a hat book called Hat Catalog. And shows Hat Kid using a polar bear beanie that gives her ice powers, using a tennis hat with wings to give her super speed, a witch hat that allows her to make explosive potions, a black hat with 2 black feathers, a green clear fiber dangling, or something I forgot what it's called, and which allows her to freeze time by freezing a butterfly mid-air. We then cut to Hat Kid making a hat, and it's a baseball cap with red, white, and yellow color scheme. And unfortunately, it has 2 strands poking out, meant to represent All Might's hair. We then cut to All Might walking home in his skinny form, and he's also wearing a hat and a mask. He thinks to himself, I've been training with Mirio a lot, and the new school year of UA is about to start. And then remembers, I was going to choose somebody at UA Intersam. The UA Intersam that's going to happen in a month, but I decided to choose Mirio. I knew he's a good candidate. But he goes to the beach. He says, somebody cleaned the beach. Impressive. I wonder who did it. That's when he sees a fridge being moved up the stairs, and he says, is that a fridge being moved by itself? That's when he sees being carried by a little girl with a baseball cap. It reminds him of his hair, and he's puffed up, using his quirk. This person is Hat Kid, aka Deku. Might then sees her, and Might then sees her, and Hat Kid sees him back before she gives him an adorable smile and waves for walking down the stairs. But says, wait, young one, did you clean the beach up by yourself? And Hat Kid turns back and says, yep, I kinda used it as a training ground. And the trash has training dummies, but I feel bad about it, destroying most of it and making a mess, so I cleaned it up. So it's incredible. Hat Kid says, it doesn't matter. It was still good training for when I go to UA. No, I think so. Wait, she's going to UA? But she can't be older than 6 or 5. Which quick fact, Hat Kid is actually supposed to be 5. Neri and Koda are actually 5 and 6. Which works out perfectly. But like I was saying, Noe then says, don't you think it's a little early for you to be training? You're only 5, and Hat Kid says, just because I look 5 doesn't mean I am 5. She then picks up a huge metal beam and slams it over her shoulder and says, I'm actually 15. And she walks past All Might thinks to herself. And All Might thinks to himself, I might have an interesting career if I'm going to be teaching her next year. Then cut to Deku walking to UA, because today's the day he takes a UA entrance exam. Deku is freaking out, thinking himself, I've been training with my Hat Kid body for a while. She's incredibly strong and her umbrella is durable, so it's a good weapon. And even if she's not strong enough, I can use her super strength hat to make myself stronger. But as he's thinking about this, how he can use her hats and her powers, he trips and says, uh-oh. But before he falls, he starts floating. Deku says, what's going on? Someone says, I hope you don't mind me using my quirk on you. I think it'd be bad luck to fall right before the test. As Deku gets up, the girl says, good luck before walking away. Deku says, I just talked to a girl. But then Caution bumps into him and says, go home, you shitty Deku. But Deku continues walking. But as he takes the written test, which he actually does better on. Because this timeline, he only had to train his head capabilities and her fighting style, not her body. So he's actually studied more. Another portion. Because the quick lecture person might gives an auditorium, but the practical part of the test is the same. We're later calling him out for mumbling impressed by getting left hanging when he asks if he can get a hay. But as Deku and the others go outside, Deku starts mumbling to himself, but then he sees the girl that saved him earlier. So he tries to talk to her, but later stops him, just like an original. It doesn't matter, because the story is only going to change when the door opens up. Because the door opens up, Rita just stands there until Professor Mike says, "What are you waiting for? There are no countdowns in a real battle." So everybody starts running, leaving Deku behind. But Deku says, "Oh no," before he starts running. As he runs, a huge smoke cloud surrounds him and he turns into Hat Kid. Hat Kid then creates another smoke cloud. Our hat is now replaced with a red tennis hat with 2 wings, the sprint hat. Hat Kid then uses the sprint hat to catch up to everybody. As everybody's running, they see something quickly run past them. But as they're running, he sees a giant robot. Or he sees a robot, I meant, not a giant one. He starts running towards it. Then he sees something next to him. He sees a little girl. You already know it's Hat Kid. But as Lila starts running, or Lila starts to slow down, to the shock of seeing a little girl that's almost as fast as him. Hat Kid outruns them, and a cloud of smoke appears on her hand and an umbrella appears. Then uses the umbrella to smash the robot's side, and then his neck, and finally bonk it on his head, which finally destroys it. This makes Lila jaw drop, because the little girl is almost as fast as him and took down a robot in 3 hits. Hat Kid says there's 3 more robots. She then switches out her sprint hat for a timeout. She doesn't freeze the time. She then jumps onto a robot and smashes its head. He then jumps onto another robot and smacks the side of the robot. She then jumps into the air and ground pounds the 3rd robot before jumping off and unfreezing time. To Lita's eyes, she just teleported past 3 robots, and they all had their head get smashed in less than a second. She then switched back to her sprint hat and runs off. But as she runs off, it shows Hat Kid using her laser from her umbrella and blasting some robots. She also uses super strength hat, or what she nicknamed the Plus Ultra hat, to lift a robot's body and throw it at another one. She then turns around and sees multiple students' jaw dropped. As Nezuko waves, he runs off. But in our station room, Nezu says, "What an interesting quirk. That form, despite looking like a little girl, she's incredibly agile, quick, and strong." And he says, "More importantly, she's adorable." But then Flower says, "Wait, wasn't that the little girl you saw clean up the beach all night?" And he says, "Yes, but I didn't know she had 2 forms." But I'm more curious, why does a cloud appear over her head? But deep down, he's thinking, wasn't that kid who said he was quirkless? But then he says, her hat keeps on changing, why? Then Nessa says, "I think it's part of her power. The red tennis hat with the wings made her go faster. The red, blue, and white and yellow hat with the All Might strands made her stronger. The black one either gives her even faster speed, but somehow the red hat does that. It most likely freezes time." Man says, "That's amazing." And says, "It is. But let's see if she can handle this." And so then presses the button, but we then cut it back to Hat Kid. Hat Kid is panting on top of a pile or mountain of destroyed robots. Her umbrella is now a baseball bat. But as the floor starts to shake, she says, "What the?" But then she sees a giant robot and says, "Well, that's big." So everybody starts running. Hat Kid hears a cry for help. She then says, "I can't believe I'm about to fight something that big." But she then switches to her sprint hat, and she starts running. She thinks, "Okay, how am I supposed to take that down?" But then she sees a robot as big as a building. So she says, "Well, his body's main thing is jumping and climbing." She then switches she switches to her sprint hat, but she still has her sprint hat. And starts running up buildings. Wall jumps between buildings and climbs up. She then starts running and jumps onto the robot with the next thing. She's not going to make it. But Hat Kid does a double jump and air dash, and she says, "That defies the laws of physics." But as Hat Kid lands, she climbs up the robot and onto its head. She says, "Okay, I just got to rip out the wires and maybe it'll go down." She then pulls out her umbrella and shoots a wide laser And says, okay, normally it shoots a wide laser, but if I conjure it and make it a thin and sharp one, I can make my umbrella can make it sharp and cut a hole through the robot. She then uses it and changes the laser so it's sharp and small, so it cuts a laser. She then jumps inside of it, and then changes her hat to her explosion hat and says, "Let's blow this thing up." She starts throwing vials that blows up the robot's inner workings. But that happened, the robot starts to sputter and starts to smoke, but then it goes limp and starts to lean on a building, first sliding onto its back, and basically kind of blowing up. But people go to check it out. We heard grass, some people get debris of Uraraka. But as she heals Uraraka says, "What destroyed it?" That's when a blue-haired kid says, "Looks like it was destroyed from the inside." Then a girl with pink skin says, "What type of monster do you have to be to destroy that?" That's when a blonde French kid says, "Probably looks scary type of person." But then a laser is heard and some sparks are seen near the head. That's when a panel gets kicked out nearby stairs, until a hand reaches out and a little girl pops out. Somebody says, "What?" Somebody says, "Why is there a little girl doing in there?" That's when Leah says, "Wait, you're the girl who destroyed all those robots earlier." That's when Yurika says, "Wait, you destroyed that by yourself? But why?" Heke says, "Because I'm a hero." She then smiles, which makes everybody have a heart squeeze. Because to be honest, Hake's adorable, is considered adorable, and people will probably finally find adorable. We now cut to Deku pacing back and forth. And he goes in, "Are you okay, sweetie?" Deku says, "No, I still haven't got to my letter." He says, "Sweetie, you said you just read a lot, you should get it. And if you don't, I'm still proud of you." Deku says, "I know, Mom, but look at me." He then transforms into Hat Girl, and she says, "My quirk is weird. They might not let me in." And Ghost says, "Honey, I don't think it's weird." Deku says, "When you first saw me, you had a heart attack." He says, You have to understand, sweetie. It's kind of weird." Then Hackett hears the mail truck. Hackett says, "It's here." We cut to Deku opening the envelope. And as he opens it, it shows All Might as a hologram. He says, "Congratulations, young Midoriya. You passed with flying colors." And I mean flying colors, you got the highest score in hero points, making you the representative of the Sport Festival. But more importantly, you got secret points. You're also summoning hero points, and you got multiple from helping students. You got a bunch when you took down the 0 points to save that girl. But I don't understand why you didn't use your super strength to lift the robot to girl instead of fighting that robot. And let's make Deku's facepalm. Then All says, I can't wait to see you in class one day next year." And as the video ends, Izuku is left crying, because he just fulfilled his dream. But guys, I'm going to end the video here, so don't forget to like, share, subscribe, etc. If you like the music, there will be in the link in the description below.